to cue me because he's got the computer off. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Bellingham. Really grateful that you're joining us this morning. And we have a delightful Sunday planned for you, starting with our wonderful music director, Amber Darlin. Take it away, Amber.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's sing this song. This is So To We Come by our very own Lisa Harmon. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. Sing that again. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. Set your fear down to the side, come together as one. Lift your hearts up to the sky, come together in love. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. Sing it out. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. You have traveled long and far, come together as one. We are good enough just as we are, come together in love. So do we come. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. So do we come together as one. So do we come together in love. Oh, we're here today in love for our community and everyone out there tuning in this morning. Thanks for being here. Take a minute if you're on social media right now, live. Say who you are, where you're from, and say hello to some of our spiritual community. It's a great time to connect and let folks know that you're tuning in and that we're with each other in spirit. All right, we're going to move on over to our invocational prayer by the wonderful practitioner of the day, Susan Jancic.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Susan Jancic, and I am the practitioner of the day, and I'm so honored to be so. Today's topic by Dr. Andrea is spiritual enrichment. And now the invocation. Going within, knowing with me as I know, there is only one divine mind, one light of being, one voice. It is the ever-present loving spirit that flows through the tapestry of all life. Every thought, every experience is sourced in the divine. All life, all thoughts, all beings are sourced in this one light, one love, all knowing. The wisdom of the ages beyond time, the order of all nature. Everyone belongs, everything is included. The all-inclusive divine spirit flows through the tapestry of life in harmony and unity. I am part of the divine mind. I am the divine mind, and my life blossoms. I am so grateful for the magnificence divine in my life and in all life, ever supporting, ever uplifting. I am so grateful for CSL Bellingham, for this teaching, and for our beloved Dr. Andrea. I entrust these words into the law, knowing they are so, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. Let's sing. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. Oh, I miss singing that song at our center, watching all those kiddos come up to stage. And with all the missing, I still have so much gratitude that we're able to meet here on this forum together in this format. All of me designed to perfection. All of me beautiful and sacred. All of me a wonder, expression of the all of me, pure light, divine. Let's sing all of me, designed to perfection. All of me, designed to perfection. All of me, beautiful and sacred. All of me, beautiful and sacred, a wonder, expression of the universe. All of me, a wonder, expression of the infinite. All of me, pure light, divine. All is love, all is light. All is love, all is light. All is love, all is light. All of me, pure light, divine. All of me, designed to perfection. All of me, beautiful and sacred. All of me, a wonder, expression of the infinite. All of me, pure light, divine. All is love, all is light. 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 All of me, pure light, divine. Let's let our voices ring out into the world. All is love, all is light. 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 All of me, pure light, divine. All of me, pure light, divine. We are going to move now on to our wonderful minister, Reverend Dr. Andrea Asebedo, for the message of the day.
Hello there. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Susan. Wonderful messages. Because today's theme is spiritual enrichment, and it has to do with the power of diversity, which is our monthly theme. And as I was sitting in contemplation of this theme, spiritual enrichment, the power of diversity, an old story, as old as they come, came back to me. And I wanted to read you part of it and read you a couple other pieces because it's a universal story. So it pops up in different cultures at different times. Um, and it is one of the oldest stories in the world. So this one may be familiar to you because many of us were taught. It goes like this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, one day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament and separated the waters which were under the firmament from the waters that were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, a second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind, upon the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which was their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a third day. Bear with me. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the firmament of heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars as well. And God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. If you're not picking up on it, that's my favorite line. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the firmament of the heavens." And so God created, this is another of my favorite lines, "the great sea monsters, and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind." And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, a fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kinds." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and everything God saw, was good. And then God said, "Let us make man in our image." This is an old Bible. "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created us in his own image. In the image of God, he created. Male and female, he created us. And God blessed us, and God said to us, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed, and every tree with seed in its fruit, and you shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. It goes on. I'm sure you're familiar with it. What you might not know is that this is part of a larger universal story that's found in many different cultures in many different ways. And so I brought you just a couple just to share, because I know that sometimes the Judeo Christian Bible is triggering for some of us. And so I wanted you to hear from other cultures as well. In the earliest of the Upanishads, which is thought to date somewhere about the 9th century BCE, there is language concerning creation much like Genesis 1. For example, in the beginning there was only the great self in the form of a person. Reflecting, it found nothing but itself, and thus its first word was, "This am I." To throw off the burden of loneliness, the person caused itself to split into two, from which a man and a woman were born. In another culture, the Basari from Togo in Africa has a tradition in which a man and a woman, having been created by the god Amambote, eat of the forbidden fruit and then are confronted by Ambote. "Who told you you could eat that fruit?" the god asks. "Snake did," they reply. There's the story of the sea god known in Polynesia as Taroa, similar to the Genesis 1 story. He existed, Taroa was his name, in the immensity. There was no earth. There was not sky. There was no sea. There was no man. Taroa created the heavens. Let darkness cease. Let immobility cease. Let the period of messengers cease. And from the Pima tribe of southern Arizona comes a song sung by the Creator at the beginning of the world. In the beginning, there was only darkness everywhere. Darkness gathered thick in places, crowding together and then separating, crowding and separating, until at last, out of one of the places where the darkness had crowded, there came forth a man. This man wandered through the darkness until he began to think. And then he knew himself, and he knew that he was a man, and he knew that he was there for a purpose. So, perhaps a little bit of an unexpected start this morning. I'm not always one that reads from the Bible and other sources like that. But for me, what's very important about these stories, and particularly Genesis 1, is the line, "And God saw that it was good." And, what I've noticed about diversity in our cultures now is that we've forgotten sometimes that diversity is good. And I think it's really important that we understand that diversity is no accident. It's no evolutionary accident or flaw. That diversity is the necessity of life here on the planet. It's necessary at a biological level, but I would say to you that it's necessary at every level, including a spiritual level. That the diversity of thought, the diversity of story, that the diversity of understanding of the divine, of the mysterious quantum field, that this diversity of understanding contributes to the wholeness of who we are. And so it's puzzling. I'm sure it's puzzling to you. It certainly is puzzling to me to understand why differences would be hated. And yet, in my own life, I can recall going on a walk with my mother around our very beautiful Corvallis, Oregon neighborhood in the springtime, and walking around looking at all the different flowers and plants that were coming up. And I distinctly remember my mom saying, "Oh, I hate that plant. I hate Dusty Miller." And I was probably 5, I was like, "Huh, it's a plant. She hates that plant." And just being caught off guard, but also, if you think about it, being taught that that you could hate something just because. So several weeks later, I was walking in the same neighborhood with my grandmother. And my grandmother and I were walking, and we walked past the Dusty Miller, and I said, "Oh, I hate that plant," because I was 5. I was copying my mom. And my grandmother, fortunately for me, said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, I hate that plant. My mom hates that plant too." And she said, "You hate Dusty Miller?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Why?" And I didn't know. She said, "You know, all plants are beautiful in their own way." And it was my first teaching of loving diversity. And so to understand hate, we have to go back to our very roots and understand that for many of us, we were taught things about hate that I don't believe are actually uh, factory equipment. I think we learned them. And so I was thinking about this, and thinking about what I was going to tell you, and I was going to tell you about a very basic teaching of the science mind regarding all this, and it's kind of actually the basic teaching of the science mind, you might say, and it has to do with how we perceive the infinite mystery, the one, the the divine, how we perceive its action in humanity and in the world here on earth. And the way we perceive it is that we understand that the divine operates through humanity in two fashions: love and law. And so let me talk about law first, because I'm talking about the great law of cause and effect. And I'm talking about how, in our individual expression of the one, we have been gifted the power of creation. We were made in the image and likeness of the one. Remember, the image and likeness of God. And because God is the ultimate creator, the creative, the one that brings forth all things, we also partake of that nature in its entirety, not like a little tiny bit, but all of it. We have the ability to create all of it, all of our own reality. But a lot of us have fallen asleep to the fact that we do that. And we live from a place of creating out of old ideas that we were gifted when we were too young to sort and choose. And so the law is impersonal. This aspect of the divine simply says yes to any creative idea and seeks to bring it forth into our lives, into our reality. It creates from a template within the mind and heart of each of us. And from that template, which is constructed of a blueprint of beliefs and ideas that are deeply held, it begins to form reality on the outer to match the inner reality that we're believing. And this is how it happens. And because it's impersonal, it has no judgment. It has no ability to say, oh no, I'm not going to create that by means of you, because that's really not a good idea. Don't do that. It doesn't do that. The law simply of cause and effect moves. It takes what we deeply hold and it brings it out into the world over and over again. Fortunately for us, that's only part of how the divine, the universal quantum operates. There's another aspect that is moving in us equally at the same time, all the time, and that is the aspect of love. And love, being part of the divine that we are, guides the creative process often and often. Love is that which allows us to discern and understand when we've created something that is not something we would choose to continue to create. Love is the aspect of our own divinity that says, oh, no, that's not what I intend. No, that's not how I would like it to be, and begins to recreate in a different fashion different things. Now, in Genesis 1, you don't hear about the recreation part. But I bet you anything that the spirit in us is delighted when love guides the way and law follows that. So, in that larger teaching of love and law comes the understanding of how to work with hatred in our own selves and in the world. uh, how to understand diversity in its most positive aspect, that we're all sacred beings, that every thing that creeps on the earth, every great sea monster, every bird that wings across the firmament, every sacred human is part and parcel of the divine, created out of its nature. To get to that place, we have to go to another story, which you maybe are also familiar with, which is the story of what's often called the fall. And the fall, in our understanding, wasn't so much a fall as an awakening. So you remember the story of the Garden of Eden. So God had done all this work, created all this incredible stuff, called it good, loved it, blessed it, said, go forth and enjoy this. And in the garden, there was a tree of good and evil. And he said to the people that he had created, you don't want to eat from that fruit. But they did. They did. And for many theologies, that proves that somehow we're flawed or broken because we did something that we were instructed by the divine not to do. But in our theology, which is a liberation theology, we don't perceive it quite like that. So I wanted to read you from another big book, which is the Science of Mind textbook, one of the books that the founder of this philosophy, Ernest Holmes, wrote. And this is what he has to say about the Garden of Eden. And I'm going to pull out the part that I think is important for our discussion today. The Garden of Eden typifies our original state of perfection before we began to have experience. The tree of knowledge means the life principle, which can be used both ways. It bore the fruit of knowledge of both kinds of experiences, good and evil, freedom and limitation. We must choose what kind of fruit we will eat. We chose to depart from the good and individuate, and we alone must choose to return to it. God lets us alone, for we are a free agent and may do as we please with ourselves. When someone decides to return to the garden, we will find that the Godhead, the divine, is still there. God's creation is perfect, and when we awaken to this fact, we will once again be in the kingdom of heaven. So I was thinking about all this morning. It's a big morning for me, and and I was thinking about how hatred takes us out of the garden, and how love brings us right back. And I was thinking about how to tell you about that in a way that could be applicable. I'm kind of a practical person, so these are all great theories and all, but I want to know how to apply them, don't you? And so I turned to another fabulous mystic person today, and I actually was sort of roaming about in my shelves, my bookshelves, and Rumi called to me. And Rumi, of course, the Sufi poet and mystic, and I turned to a poem or a stanza that I'd never read before, ever. And I've read a lot of Rumi. And it had to do with how do we apply the power that we've been gifted of love and law. How do we create out of our own inner life a world that works for everyone, a world that is filled with love, a world where hatred is something that is understood to be not only wrong, I guess would be a word, but irrelevant. It's like it doesn't apply because all the diversity of life is good and very good. So this is what Rumi has to say, and I'll leave you with this in a prayer. It's called Tending Two Shops. Okay, I'm going to have to talk about it a little bit after, but yeah. Don't run around this world looking for a hole to hide in. Have you been feeling like that lately? Like maybe I can emigrate somewhere else? Don't run around this world looking for a hole to hide in. There are wild beasts in every cave. If you live with mice, the cat claws will find you. The only real rest comes when you're alone with God. Live in the nowhere that you came from, even though you have an address here. That's why you see things in two ways. Sometimes you look at a person and see a cynical snake. Someone else sees a joyful lover, and you're both right. Everyone is half and half, like the black and white ox. Joseph looked ugly to his brothers and most handsome to his father. You have eyes that see from that nowhere, and eyes that judge distances, how high and how low. You own 2 shops, and you run back and forth. Try to close the one that's a fearful trap, getting always smaller and smaller. Checkmate this way, checkmate that. Keep open the shop where you're not selling fish hooks anymore. You are the free swimming fish. There's a way to live in the world focused on the divine. There's a way to live from the place of creation, creative being. There's a way to use the power that we've been gifted for good. Open that shop more and close the shop that has you worried or frightened, angry or scared of things outside. Focus instead on the inner shop, the place where you and the divine reside together. Live there, and from that place, creation can unfold in different ways, more powerful and more beneficial to all of us. And in the end of our life, we can look at all that we've created and say, that was good. I don't know about you, but that's my goal. That was good. So join me in a prayer for that. Know with me, as I know for myself, that there is an inner power, a love divine. This love flows through all that is and takes the shape and the form of all that is. Even the most hateful of hateful being is still made of the love of the divine. And so I turn with that understanding within, and I recognize that love is what is crafting me. My thoughts, my actions, my words are all made up of the love divine resident within. Truly, all things in this world are sacred. And as I shift my gaze from the outer to the inner, I remember, I see that truth. And more than that, I see and live from that truth in daily life, creating out of that understanding a world that is both beautiful and effective, that is filled with the sacred and allows all things to evolve and grow in the highest and best way. I am grateful for the gift that each sacred human has been given, that I have been given, the gift of creation. And I take that gift seriously now, choosing daily to use my mind and heart to create and craft a reality that is truly good. In gratitude, I release this word, knowing it is at work within me now and within you should you choose it. And so it is. That prayer was true for me. So I have a couple of announcements for you, and then I'm going to turn you back over to close up with Amber and another great song. Particularly for those of you who identify as male, today the men's group is meeting at noon. And if you would like to be a part of that, it is a Zoom meeting, and you can email the center at info@csl-bellingham.org, and we will shoot you the Zoom link so that you can participate at noon today with the men's group leader, Philip Flores. We'd love you to do that if that appeals. And this week is the start of a new class that you may want to be involved in. It's called Infinite Possibilities. It's based on the work of Mike Dooley, and it's being taught by our rogue rabbi and practitioner, Kalish Leviel. It starts this Tuesday, the 14th, and it's an hour and a half long from 5 to 6:30, and we would love you to be a part of it. Again, you can email the center, and we will get you the Zoom link for that class starting Tuesday if you would like to be a part of it. And then I also wanted to make sure that you knew about the link that is now on our website. I don't know if it's on the YouTube, but it's on our website and also on the center's Facebook page of the parade that we had last week. And it's just a minute and a half long, but it is really, really a wonderful thing to see if you didn't get to come out and be in the first ever pandemic parade that we've had. It was lighthearted, it was uplifting, and very, very heartfelt. So many congratulations go out to our 6 new practitioners and our 2 new board members and our 3 new adjuncts. But more than anything, it was an expression of the joy that we have in community. So it also made us all sad, but it was a good kind of sad. It was a remembering kind of sad. And so we hold space here in the sanctuary, knowing that there will be a day when we will all once again be sitting together in this room, enjoying the incredible joy of community together. So take it away, Amber, and thank you for bringing the face of God as another reminder of what we have lost, but what we have.
Thank you, Andrea. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the light. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the peace. Today I'm finding gratitude for all that's right. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the love. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the grace. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the joy. Today I'm seeing God in each and every face. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Yeah, let's dwell upon the good. Oh, so nice to have you all here today with us, and grateful for this community, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Bye, everybody.